Hello everyone, welcome back. It's the EF Scale Nerd here again, well obviously, and welcome back to the Minecraft recreation of Lassen Volcanic National Park and other things. This is part 2, and I know part 1 was quite short because for some reason the video cut abruptly. I don't know why it did that, so I'll just kind of resume to where I think the video cut off. As you can see, this stuff wasn't here before. Um, we just simulated another volcanic eruption of a humpback cone, and then Fairfield Peak, and then as you can see, we have like a little spatter cone that formed over there and produced some lava flows, as you can see. So this is kind of what we kind of do every now and then. We kind of do some fictional volcanic eruptions and stuff. So, so I believe the video left off on when I was just getting to Hat Mountain. So, here's Hat Mountain in all of her glory. And obviously, Hat Mountain is a cinder cone, and the most recent time when I went and visited Lassen, you're actually able to see it on the highway. There's like a good clear view through the trees to where you're able to see it. There is no trail to get up to the top of it in real life, at least that I do not know of, and it's not marked on any map. So we kind of just added it here just because. And here's one of the stations on the main line. This is Hat Mountain Station. Hat Mountain Station did not used to look like this a while ago. It actually used to look like something like this, but different colored wood and stuff. And then down there is like a little parking lot. And then that's recently been built. That just connects with another line that's out over there. And then here's Summit Lake, where Summit Lake Campground would be. Now, like I said in the previous video, this map is not one-to-one scale, so it's not like how everything the heights of the volcanoes and mountains are not their true height of how they should look, but it's kind of whatever. But this is Summit Lake. And here's the highway that runs through Lassen Volcanic National Park. And then here's Reading Peak Station. Reading Peak Station used to be right here, this old platform right here. So the track used to keep going this way, come up this way, make a turn, and then come in and then go off that way. But we decided to get rid of that. Well, we got rid of the station and stuff, but the platform is still here for like extra seating if this station's kind of like all filled up with passengers. So we moved it here. This switch just goes out onto that line, and it connects with the other line that's out there. And then we have a little trail that goes up to the summit of Reading Peak. So then, as you can see over there, there's Boiling Springs Lake. And then over there, there's Mount Harkness, which I think I pointed out in the last video. And then there's Crater Butte Gulch, and then Crater Butte right there. And then you can see a little bit of cinder cone right out there. And right there is Cold Boiling Lake. So I plan on redoing it. But what I basically did, I just kind of just dug out like a lake, like a pond-like shape, even though it's way bigger than this in real life. And then I just added some soul sand under the water to make it look like the CO2 bubbles are rising up into the water. But if you guys have any tips on how to improve some of the builds and stuff like this, feel free to let me know in the comments, because I'd like to take some inspiration from y'all. And then over here, I believe over there it would be Kings Creek Falls, which I do plan on building at some point, but I don't know. So as you can see, the main line for the Cinder Cone Lassen Valley Railroad goes up past Mount Lassen right here, And right here, this is an old snow shed, which inside it houses the Lassen folks, which is kind of like a little panorama that I have in here. And we come out, and then here's an old spur of track. And then here's the south face of Mount Lassen, and here's the parking lot for the Lassen Peak Trail. Now I do plan on adding the trails at some point very soon. But if I remember correctly, the trail goes up like around here, then it goes up this way, and it curls around, and it just starts zigzagging up like that. So this is Mount Helen. This is Bumpus Mountain. I forgot the name of this. That's Eagle Peak. I know that for sure. And here's Lake Helen. So if you guys don't know, Lake Helen wasn't always called Lake Helen. Lake Helen was originally called Sapphire Lake, but the name got changed when the first woman first summited Lassen Peak, and the lake got the name Lake Helen. And over here is Emerald Lake. Yeah, I know, kind of small and rectangle. I don't know why it's like that. And then over here is Bumpus Hill. As you can see, it's still a work in progress. I'm still trying to add some stuff. But I did add like a little creek going down, because I remember there was a creek there in Bumpus Hill that went down into a little Hot Springs Valley right here. So there's Mount Conard. Pilot Pinnacle, which I believe is that one. Broke-Off Mountain. I think that's Mount Diller. And here's Diamond Peak. So if you guys have been to Lassen, or at least watched videos or even heard about it, these peaks are the remnants of a stratovolcano that used to be right here, called Mount Tehama, or Broke-Off Volcano as some people call it. And as you can see, Sulphurworks sits right in the crater, or not crater, the basin of the long dead volcano. Now Mount Tehama is extinct, obviously, but Sulphurworks shows that there's still magma underneath the surface, obviously because, well, Lassen Peak erupted back from 1914 to 1921. And right here, here's more of the main line. Goes right past Broke-Off Mountain, a long bridge, and then the final stop for the trains is Kolyamani Visitor Center. And in this little building right here, this is the Lassen Peak Railroad Association building. And down there's the south entrance. So I'll show you guys the inside of Kolyamani. So I kind of built the outside based off pictures and stuff, so it's not exactly perfect, but it's kind of close enough to somewhat resemble it. So here's the inside. Well, here's the doorway. So this is knowing on the left-hand side right here when you walk in, this is where the bathrooms would be. But I converted it into the volcano alert room. So as you can see, all these numbers are like the risks. So the higher the number, the more the risk, the more of a higher chance of the volcano erupting. So as you can see, Fairfield Peak and Humpback Cone are still kind of high because, well, they just got done erupting and there's still some residual heat in them. So yeah, I have them all color coordinated for their section. So purple's the central Lassen area, that's like Lassen Peak and all that area. And then we have Bindwell Spring Chain. We have Poison Lake, and then we have the Caribou Chain. I think that's how you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we have the Crater Butte area, which has Crater Butte, Fairfield Peak, Cinder Cone, and Mount Harkness. But if we go out here, we have a simplified version. So these tell you what the risk means. So 0 to 3 would be safe, and then 5 through 6 would be monitoring. So have like it'll be yellow. On an I plan on changing this. This will from no, not gonna change it. So 7 to 9 would be is danger, so it'll be orange, and then 10 would be the eruption. Then it would be marked in red. So as you can see, kind of a more simplified version of the alert board. And no, this is not in the actual visitor center in Lassen. This is just some little fun thing I added. So here's the inside. So here's the KYVC auditorium. Here's the inside. I haven't been inside the auditorium as many times as I've been to Lassen, so I kind of just did guesswork on it. So I kind of just this I did not build. My cousin put this up here, and then my cousin built a little border around the screen. And then back here is like the employee only areas. Here's like a storage room that we never use. And here's the exhibit hall. Now this is not what it looks like in real life, but kind of a more. It's kind of how I built it. So we have some history on Crater Butte, Butte Lake, and Old Station. Normally I have books here that talk about these different types of volcanoes, but I'm updating them. And then we have some volcanic rocks. I use for dacite lava. I use deep slate because, well, in my opinion, it kind of looks like dacite. So, and then right here we have some books on wildlife, and then Sulfurworks and Bumpus Hell. And over here is like the gift shop, and here's the cafe. And then here's the back area where you get a good view of everything. And then some side doors right here. And then if we go back through here, we have some more storage rooms that I don't use. Emergency exit, back entrance to the kitchen, and then here's a storage room for most that I have some stuff in. Some of the old books and stuff. So that's Koyamani Visitor Center. I think it's a pretty good replica, if I'm being honest. And then down there is Mineral. We are starting to build some stuff down there, as you can see. All those white posts are railroad crossing signs, because the rail system still goes down that way. And that right there, that's Morgan Mountain. And that's Chrissy Hill. I believe these... I know that's a cinder cone, Chrissy Hill. I believe Morgan Mountain is a cinder cone also. What else did we miss? Let's go. I'll show you guys the top of Lassen. So sorry if my game is kind of laggy. My game kind of gets laggy every now and then. So, alright, so here we are at Lassen. So that right there is the Vulcan's Eye. Pretty cool feature that's on Mount Lassen. And then here's the top. So as you can see, here's the where the true summit is. We have a cinder cone, Lassen Valley Railroad flag, and we have American flag. And then we have the craters. Now this rock that I put in is from when Lassen Peak recently erupted, from June 2nd to June 3rd. As you can see, the eruption was actually relatively small. It didn't really last that long. And then here's Crescent Crater. If I'm being completely honest, I have no idea what kind of volcano Crescent Crater is, because it looks like a cinder cone, but in real life it's like really rocky, so it's too rocky to be a cinder cone. So if you guys know, please do let me know. I would like to know if there's any information on this crater. And then here's Chaos Crags. Oh, the Rhyolitic lava domes in Lassen. And Chaos Crags extends from there and it goes all the way down there. And then right here, this like little it kind of looks like a cliff. That's because this is where the landslide happened. The rock avalanche went down through here. This is Chaos Jumbles. So it's basically this area that's just covered in rocks and boulders from when Chaos Crags had like a avalanche of rocks that went down this way. And then here's Table Mountain. Now, do correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember, Table Mountain is a eroded stratovolcano. I don't know if that's right, but if you guys do know what kind of volcano it was or is, do let me know. And then here's the north entrance. Now, as you can see, Manzanita Lake is nowhere in sight. And that's because, well, I do not know how to build lakes my own. So, if you guys do want to leave me tips on how to recreate Manzanita Lake, do let me know in the comments. And we are planning on making this world multiplayer. So, anyone who wants to play with us, any of my subscribers on YouTube or followers on my TikTok channel can join. There'll only probably be like 10 people at a time, depending on how much the server can hold. But as of right now, the world is going to stay as well. It is multiplayer only for me and my cousin, but it's going to stay that for right now. And here's the north entrance again. So this line goes out towards Shingletown, and then from Shingletown it goes towards Mineral, and it just basically loops back into Lassen Volcanic National Park. This right here, that's Red Lake Mountain, which is a cinder cone. Same with that one over there. That's a cinder cone. And then you can see, I think that's Potato Butte out there. That's where Old Station is. It would be out there. Old Station will be in part 3. Part 2 is just basically covering everything that the last video missed. Oh, as you can see, there's a massive crater right here. Now, I believe this is a maar, and if you don't know what a maar is basically a crater that was formed when rising magma came in contact with shallow groundwater, and when it came in contact, the water flashed into steam and it caused an explosion, and basically leaves a massive crater in the ground. So as you can see, this is called Deep Hole in Lassen. You can search it up in Google Maps, Google Earth, and whatever you use for navigation, and it'll show you this. Here's basically the angle where, if you guys have seen the video and photos of Lassen Peak erupting in 1915, this is the angle it was captured from. Alright, I don't know what else I'm missing. I think I basically covered everything, I think. Here's Raker Peak. Raker Peak, I believe, is a hardened remnant of a stratovolcano, or a throat of a stratovolcano. Do correct me if I'm wrong if you do know. Oh yeah, there's Badger Mountain, which I believe it was covered in the first part, but I'll point it out again in case if you guys forgot. I think that about sums up part 2. Oh wait, I forgot. Let's go over towards Juniper Lake and see some stuff out over here. So as you can see, there's a Boiling Springs Lake. Here's I forgot the name of these lakes over here, but I believe this is. I think these are the Twin Lakes, if I'm right. But I know this lake over here is called Rainbow Lake. Here's Crater Butte Gulch again. This church right here was built by my cousin, and this is the one I built myself. These buildings I did not really build myself. I kind of watched a YouTube tutorial on how to build Wild West style buildings. As well, yes, I am good at building, but when it comes to like building like kind of like stuff like this, it's kind of hard for me to like figure out what to use, what looks good and what not looks good. Here's Horseshoe Lake, but if I do remember, I think I did show you guys this over here again. Over here, I think I showed this already in the past video, but I'll go ahead and show it again. So here's Juniper Lake and Mount Harkness. Mount Harkness is another shield volcano in Lassen Volcanic National Park. Prospect Peak, shield volcano, which I did attempt hiking when I visited Lassen recently. We could definitely make it up to the top, but that's probably gonna have to be like an all-day hike. Well, maybe not an all-day hike, probably like a half-day hike, because the time that we were hiking it, we just got to our campsite and started setting up, and it was probably like I think like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when we started hiking it. So we got up like halfway around like I think like 4 o'clock. So yeah, we started heading back down at that time because the sun was starting to set and we didn't really want to be there at dark. So, and plus, even if we did make it at the top, we probably wouldn't have time to look around because, well, the sun would be setting, and plus our parents were waiting for us to get back so we can have dinner. So out there's the Lassen Wilderness. That's Black Butte, and those are twin buttes. But I named that one Summit Cone 1 and Summit Cone 2. But in real life, they're called twin buttes. That cinder cone over there, I named after my cat. That's Midnight Cone. There's a station out there because we built a line that goes out to the Lassen Wilderness, and it goes towards Susanville and Eagle Lake and loops around to Lake Elminar. But that line out there is still being worked on. But yeah, the next video will cover Old Station, most and probably the Lassen Wilderness area, and I think part 4 will cover part 4 will probably cover on anything I did miss. But yeah, this was part 2 So feel free to leave any suggestions, your thoughts on this, and what you think about this. But yeah, that sums up part two. I'll see you guys in the next part, or in the next one, sorry. I'll see you guys in the next video. So yeah, I'll see you guys then.